Hello, YouTube. It is August 16th. I've got about 2:12. I had done a video earlier and I screwed it up. I mentioned the names of people involved in this, and so I've got to redo this whole thing. This is why I do cassettes, by the way. I would like to start off by saying I have a new book out. It's titled A Logical Guide to Seeing and Understanding Corrupt Politicians. There it is. The question is that us or politicians in the chair there with the umbrella? This is my attempt to kind of bring stalking and this subject to to people who are more mainstream. I get into the subject of stalking and other things, no-fly list, and how, the prisons across America, the quote custodial facilities, and I get into how all these things tie in together. It's a very short and easy, quick and easy book for reading. It's only 116 pages. These agents quite literally block my ability to analyze my own writing and to critique it. They did this with the last book, and they did it with this book. And in the end, I had to blindly cut away parts, large pieces of chapters and this and that. And it was actually very difficult. There are some grammatical errors, what have you, but in general, it's not a bad book. Again, it is light. I'm not somebody that, goes into a lot of documentation and stuff. I look at the logical end of things. I can, of course, do one, but in the end, what's the point? I bring up a lot of ideas. A lot of this is easy to see simply by looking at logic, looking at things logically. And again, what's the difference? In the end, if you really are going to want to know and to believe, or, you need verification, then you got to look on your own anyhow. What good does it do that I put a whole bunch of footnotes and this and that? So it's very short and simple, quick and easy. It's basic, but it gets into a lot of different ideas. And if you're wondering about the bigger picture in regards to stalking and mobbing, I get into this, and and I get into all the other different pieces. Stalking is actually a piece of a much larger picture. And so what I'm going to do now is continue my cassettes, which I use for making video number 5, and this is really a continuation of that. And I may add notes as I go, but anyhow, I'm going to let this video start. But what she wasn't expecting was that I would put it all together. And this is about me doing my autobiography, which I started and completed before I actually did my book. I did my autobiography in 2005 and 2006, and I didn't start my book itself until February of 2008. So that's what I did. Like a detective, I put everything together all the way down to small bits and pieces. And, that all began in 2005 and 2006. And this was simply my autobiography. Then I put this off for 2 years. And it's my belief I was affected by these agents and technology, because normally from this I would have started my book. And instead I stopped. I was like, well, nobody's going to want to read my autobiography here. And I stopped. And normally I would have found a way of doing this. Instead, I put it off for 2 years, and then in February of 2008, I thought, well, I can do both. I can write a book about certain subjects and include my, part of my autobiography, my history. And, I could have figured that all out in 2006, and it's very unusual that I did not. Because in 2006, I was pretty much done with my autobiography. And as a point, this is one of the notebooks these agents stole. It proves very much, and there are a lot of notes and stuff of what these agents were doing to me during this time period as well. But the point is, I began my autobiography in 2005, and once I did, I began to heal. Citizens and the stalking certainly by 2006 became meaningless. Um, in 2006, they revealed this technology to me, my girlfriend, and my parents. Um, Based on how my girlfriend was acting, I know that they told her first before it was revealed to me, and they revealed it to me in June of 2006 by being obvious. Certain things, I would have certain thoughts about certain people, and they would show back up, and other things as well. And I reached a point where I was like, well, it looks like they have technology that can read my mind, and I found this very incredible. But then they would also give me signs when I would think this that would confirm this. Like I would receive like a foot pain, once or twice, and every time. And I slowly began to realize this, and then they, of course, in June, totally revealed this to me. And I was speaking openly about this to my girlfriend, and they had her do card tricks with me. I would pick a card, she could name what card it was every time. And there's an important point here. In 2004, 2005, and 2006, I was talking, and this started actually this one night in 2003, where they tried putting me in prison. Since that night, I had begun speaking to my girlfriend about this evil ghost, and as my theory and ideas changed to evil space aliens, and as I wiggle wobbled between the two, thinking 50-50 here, I was speaking out the entire time to my girlfriend about this. And, certainly by the time of 2006, I was thinking it's evil space aliens. And there's a history of this. And, agencies don't know about this either. And if they were to speak to my girlfriend, they would find out I'm telling the truth. My girlfriend can't be faking it. There's so many points I can bring up with agencies. If they ask her, they're going to see that this is all fresh and new for her. She hasn't thought about it since this time period, you name it. And there are many questions which agencies can ask, and it'll be obvious. My girlfriend's not lying. And you got to ask yourself, well, how obvious and how heavy and extreme was this technology being misused? The next point is, my girlfriend is a witness to these evil space aliens holding me in the stock. If you're with a government agency, it proves that Frida and her officers are filthy and corrupt. What kind of sick butthole holds people in this stock? And if you're really paying attention, this began from year one with them, and years before I ever began my book, or even before I began my autobiography. And obviously, once I realized I had an evil ghost, I realized, well, these uncontrollable outbursts of anger, where became opposite with my daughter, you'd better believe, of course, I realized that it was this evil ghost. And as a point, it looks like they've sold to agencies that I am angry about this rape framing and stuff. And, I was for up until I did my autobiography. And since then, it's just not a focal point for me. There's too much about the stalking. I mean, look, they're doing this because of a pedophile police officer and a racist killer at 911. That right there, end of story. If they knew the truth about these agents, the citizens taking part in the stalking, they would also be approaching agencies. It's my viewpoint. It's been that way for a long time. That said, they've been affecting me very heavily with technology. Especially last couple of years, as I got ready to approach agencies, and then once I contacted them, and they've been heavy for years on end, and they've only gotten heavier and heavier and heavier, but that's not my behavior. And it looks like they sold to agencies that I'm angry about this rape stuff, and I'm hostile and aggressive about the stalking, and it does not begin to be true. And that's also, it looks to me, as I understand it, as I figured it out, the way, based on what they've said to people I've had contact with, it looks like that they have said that I am lying about them and that I am delusional, but also it looks like they've said that I've lied about things as well, and that I am attacking them in their careers because I am angry about this stalking and this rape thing. And if that is the case, that does not begin to be true. So if you're with an agency, pay attention. That is cover story after cover story and lie after lie for tricking agencies. So now back to the tape here. And then you got to look at that. Obviously, it was not an evil ghost. Obviously, it was Frida and her officers. So if you're with an agency, these points prove everything, and it proves what I am saying, and it proves that I am innocent and that I and my family have been victimized heavily for years, and years before I began an autobiography or a book, from year one. What does it prove? It proves everything, and based on this alone, you need to be investigated. And again, it looks like agencies have been told that I am attacking their career for no reason. And, take a look. And, this is why they are being so heavy with me. And in reality, Frida and her officers are sweeping their behavior under the mat. They've done a lot of heavy and extreme behavior, and they're trying to get away with a lot of this by saying, well, he's attacking us for no reason. And that's my belief. And in reality, they've been heavy and extreme from year one. Now, again, I'm speculating on part of that. There's absolutely no question that they've told people I am delusional about this, which is just stupid. It's absurd, and, there must be 1,000 points that are against this. And it looks like they have also said that I've lied about things, and this is also stupid. So they certainly told my parents I'm a liar. And again, that's the other end of it. What they've told agencies is not necessarily what they've told my parents. It's obvious that they are tailor-making lies to people in agencies so that people are convinced enough that they don't look, they don't speak out, they don't want to find out. So people have all been lied to differently because the end goal has been about getting them to keep their mouths shut and their ears and eyes turned off. And so, again, if you're with an agency from this country, take a good look at the information. Now back to the tape here. So then in 2006, they had my girlfriend doing card tricks. And, after that, they began attacking me heavily with technology all of the time. Look, they just began going crazy with it. And for me, it was really strange, and I could not get the, quote, logic here. They revealed this technology to me, and for a long time, it was just a big puzzle. It was like they revealed the technology to me, but then they were attacking me heavily for knowing top secret information. And that's the other thing that their agency doesn't know. They deliberately revealed this technology to me, my parents, and my girlfriend. Who the hell does this? I'm talking about verbal communication with my girlfriend and with my parents. Who does this? I live in Europe. I listen to the American Armed Forces Network, and they run commercials for people in the military so that they understand. These are commercials and warnings. Anybody deliberately or otherwise revealing classified information can be prosecuted and lose their job. And that's the one of the smaller parts of it, and this is what they have done. So they can lose their jobs over this, but the funny thing is they've tricked agencies of this land into a profile I don't have, and they quite literally have victimized me and my family, and I'm getting the blame. Hello? And agencies are not investigating spies doing a cover-up. They're focused on mobbing. So I and my family, we're getting totally victimized here, and they haven't realized anything. These agents are committing all the crimes, all of the heavy and extreme behavior which agencies don't begin to know about. And I'm getting the blame so that agencies don't investigate. Furthermore, obviously, agencies of this country haven't said anything to their agency. And, normally they'd be in trouble for revealing classified information. I would think so. And, neither this American agency nor agencies of this country know what is going on. And, they've done it this way for a reason. And my best bet is this American agency has no idea of what has been going on out here in this country. And, because agencies of this country have been tricked, it's my belief, into doing them a favor, and so they haven't said anything. It's undeniable I know about this technology, and it looks to me like these agents, Frida and her officers, have come clean with this and said, yes, we've revealed it. And, maybe they would do this just in case, uh, my witnesses are contacted and ask questions. It's my belief that agencies of this land know the truth about this part. It's just very obvious that I know about this technology. On the other hand, maybe I'm wrong here. If agencies of this land don't know that they deliberately revealed this technology to my parents, my girlfriend, and me, then obviously they would want to be interested in that. They would be interested in that as well. There's no question of it. And you got to ask yourself what kind of leader does this. It's very egotistical. They were showing off. And again, it's classified information. And the other end of it is these agents would not have done this if agencies of this land did not already know that they have this technology. And again, this is how they were. All the way up until 2010, doing all sorts of really stupid stuff and showing off and being arrogant and egotistical and, just screwing up like crazy. And, as they do things like this, I figure things out. And, agencies of this land have no idea. So in 2006, I was still doing my autobiography, and after they had revealed this technology, I realized that they had known all along I'm innocent in regards to this rape framing, and I exploded. And it wasn't these agents and technology. I'm fair and honest about this. And this was I think this is probably the angriest I have ever been in my life, minus this one time they tried putting me in prison, but this was different. This time they tried putting me in prison was dangerous, and in this situation, it was not. But just like this time they tried putting me in prison, what did I do? I called my parents, and I specifically spoke with my dad. And this was in 2006, after they revealed this technology, maybe late summer, in the fall time maybe. And, I was angry about this, so my dad is a witness to this. And these agents had one of our neighbors out on the balcony, and I believe he's American. He and his girlfriend speak English, and he's a witness to this as well because I was very, very loud. I was absolutely livid. They've been traumatizing me with this and attacking me with this, and it turns out they had known all along that I was innocent. And they kept attacking me, and I would give them a point which proves the truth. I was like, hey, I worked with somebody who was raped, and I guarantee you I'm the only person that went to the Rape Crisis Center for it. And, that says something, doesn't it? And, I pointed out about 10 to 15 different things. And I realize now, based on the computer programs they have for interrogating me and torturing me into getting answers, they always get about 10 to 15 points. And based on these computer programs, what I realize now is that back then what they were doing is trying to collect all the points of truth bit by bit so that they could cover it up point by point and make it all look airtight. It's to perfect their lying and manipulating. That's exactly why they do it this way. And, as a point, what agencies of this country don't know is that they still have my parents convinced that I am a rapist. And in the meantime, they've told the truth to some people here in this country. And they have not told my parents the truth. In fact, they are still lying to my parents about it and to my family. And why? Because if my parents realize that they've been lied to about this rape stuff, they will realize that I've been telling the truth about all of the techno attacks against me and my family, including my daughter, and then they will cooperate with me, and they will speak to agencies of this land. And if agencies of this land have been lied to, and if they have been told, oh, well, I'm only doing it to stigmatize him and to traumatize him, they are seriously mistaken. I pushed the issue with my father this year, in March or April, I believe it was, and I pushed the issue with him, and I got an honest answer. And he was saying, you won't drop it because you feel guilty about it and because you did it. And it was obvious that somebody gave him this idea. I never dropped it with my parents because they are my parents and I am innocent. And as a point, I pushed him and he got all angry and said all of this, and he wasn't supposed to say any of this at all. And I know this because there is no way in hell that these agents wanted me knowing this. That's exactly it right there. Now back to the tape. I could care less if you're somebody else, but, in regards to my parents, this is different, obviously. And if you're with an agency of this country and you've been told it's only to traumatize me and stigmatize me, then you're being ignorant and you don't know what the hell you are believing and talking about. You're believing what you've been told, and what you've been told is a lie so that you don't know what the truth is. He was sold a cover story, my father was, for why I will not drop the subject with my parents. And that right there is a cover story in misdirection, so he can't figure out what the truth is on his own. It's real simple. All this simple bullshit is tricking everybody. It's tricking spies at agencies. It's tricking my parents, you name it. So while these agents have told the truth to agencies and to my parents, while they've told the truth to people around here, again, they have not told the truth to my parents, and I don't even know if they've told the truth to agencies of this country, as a point. But they most certainly have told some people living around me that I've spoken to. They've told them the truth about this, and they've told them that it was a framing. They most certainly have told the truth about my ex-girlfriend having flashbacks. And that may be in the bedroom. And that may be what they told them. And they may not have told the truth that this agency back in America framed me with this. They lied about this experience. My ex-girlfriend had a post-traumatic flashback in the bedroom while we were having sex. And this agency back in America used it for framing me and calling me a rapist. And I think these agents in Europe may have said, well, she had a flashback in bed, but then I think they may have lied and not told the truth about this agency in America, using it for labeling me a rapist. And the reality is they used it, and they not only lied about me and said I'm a rapist, but they got people inside of this stalking to commit many sexual traumas. And in fact, they did this very heavily, and this sick bastard back in America who was in charge, quite literally was doing so much, they were trying to get me to confess to saying that I raped her. And I know this because they used my mother for this, and she said to me, oh, why don't you just admit to it and it'll all be finished, i.e. this stalking will all end if you confess to a very heavy crime which you never even committed. And I remember this and I will never forget it for the rest of my life. I just felt sick to my stomach and disgusted. And, there's no denying it. They lied to my parents, and most likely they have lied to agencies and people here. What they don't want to know, what they don't want agencies knowing, is my belief, is that they actually sold this as being real to my parents and to other people. And so I could be wrong, but I'm putting all the information here so that if you're at an agency, you have enough to figure out how you were lied to. As another point, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, I called her up May 25th, and I taped part of the conversation. Actually, I taped very much of it, and I'm going to put some pieces here on YouTube. I sent her an email saying, look, why you can call up my parents and tell them what we spoke about on the phone, and this will settle very much. They need to know I'm not a rapist, blah, blah, blah. And, if they know the truth, they'll know that I've been telling them the truth about many other things. And of course, these agents in Europe have contacted her. There's no question of it. And I can bet money on it that they have convinced her into not cooperating and not doing this. My parents haven't contacted me. And I sent her an email 3 days ago. She's had 3 days to do something. She's not contacted me, and obviously she's not contacted my parents. And because of this, I'm going to put this on YouTube. And, what do I say? Thanks. Because of your screwed up bullshit, you got me labeled a rapist, and you were ignorant 20 years ago, and you're just as ignorant again, now all over again. And so now you're going on YouTube here, and that's the other end of it. These agents are threatening to steal this tape, and if you think I'm going to go back to being labeled a rapist because of your screwed up bullshit, you can forget it. And I know you, and you'll probably look for me on YouTube, and you'll probably listen to these videos. So I'm going to put part of that right here on tape. Now, these agents are threatening to steal this cassette as a point. And the other end of it is, if you're my ex-girlfriend, you have taken absolutely no responsibility. And you have no idea the amount of suffering I've been through, and now my family. And because of you and your screwed up head. I'm glad that your life is good now. I'm very happy that you've totally changed. But take a good look at yourself. You haven't taken any responsibility for your screwed up actions and your screwed up head from many years ago and the result of it all. And you lied to me on the phone, and you know that I was labeled a rapist because of this, and we both know it. And you shut up when I caught you, and I proved it to you on the phone. What do you want me to say? I have very much here on tape, and look at how nice I am being. I am only putting, small pieces here. What you need to be doing is you need to be an adult, and you need to call up my parents, and you need to tell them the truth. It is not your business to act like you know what has been going on out here with me and my family for the last 10 damn years with these agents. You were ignorant 20 years ago, and you got used, played, suckered, and manipulated, and the same thing is happening all over again. You need to quit acting like you know what is going on, and you need to simply do the right thing, and you can start by contacting my parents and telling them the truth. Again, I am including this because these agents are threatening to steal the tape. I quite literally carry it with me when I go to work. They've stolen very much from our flat. 2 notebooks. One was my autobiography. It had a lot of journal entries as well, a lot of notes about these agents. There's very much, it was a major piece of evidence. My computer's been wiped clean of these early years. They don't want agencies of this country knowing that my viewpoint changed once I did my autobiography. I just realized, these citizens are just stupid. They aren't worth my time. And that's what people inside of mobbing, are going to have to realize. This is how you pass mobbing and how it ends. Most of these people aren't worth a rat's ass. But the point is, this is being hidden from agencies of this land, and instead, what has happened is that they have relabeled me with a profile typically related to stalking, and I don't even have it, is the point. They have to reverse script me with technology, and that's what they've done. And they're affecting my girls very heavily right now also. They're reverse scripting very much. And, this has been their big secret weapon for getting away with a cover-up. If you're a government agent at agencies, you are no different. If you get shot with a gun, you bleed. If you get shot in the head, you die. The same thing with this technology. If it was misused on you the same way it's been misused on me, you would have been no different. This is how they got me to keep my mouth shut about many different points and subjects when I contacted agencies. They push in a very high level of paranoia on a level 10 and made threats, and then also had a feeling of believability attached to it, like it was truth. And of course, I ended up believing it. And they had to point that out to me, by the way. Some of this I figure out on my own. Some of it they deliberately rub around in my face until I catch on, and some of it they finally give to me. And the point is, if you were an agent at an agency, you would have kept your mouth shut about all sorts of things. Also, it is what they wanted, and they did this for a reason. It's not hard to figure out. I mean, I look at what they did, and then I say, okay, why did they do this? And I'm able to figure things out based on this. And as a point for agencies of this country, my mother is a witness to the fact that I never spoke in a bad way about agencies of this country. Not once. I spoke to my mom about contacting your agencies in regards to these agents because they're corrupt and dangerous. And they had my mom say discouraging things, and at times they also affected me with technology to not do it. You have to understand the heavy and extreme misuses of technology being done to me and my family uh, uh, that were already going on to begin with, and which is even heavier now because they're doing it for a cover up. And you can't even relate to it. It is being misused so heavily, you can't even relate to this. It's going to take somebody from your agencies familiar with this technology to understand what I'm speaking of. It is being misused so heavily and certainly during these times where I thought about speaking out to keep my mouth shut. And if you're not familiar with this technology, you're not going to get that. And that's how heavily it's being misused. And that's how it's being misused on my family. My girls are being reverse scripted. But getting back to the point, the whole point here with my ex-girlfriend, she never took any responsibility here. I've given her 3 days. And so now I'm going to put some of this on tape here for playing on YouTube. And again, this is for me, and because I've worn enough of this, and this proves everything. And the other end of it is, I don't actually know what agencies of this land have been told. The one thing I am absolutely certain of is that different people have been told different things. I mean, this is all about my witnesses being tricked into taking part in their cover-up. And this is about keeping agencies from finding out what my witnesses know. They're being manipulated into keeping their mouths shut. My ex-girlfriend is being manipulated into not contacting my parents, because if my parents find out the truth, they will cooperate and contact agencies of this land. I'd like to add a point here. I could be wrong about that. It may be that they have not approached her. She certainly would be reluctant to do this anyhow, and to admit that she is involved in something like this, and and to admit to everything that's been done here, and how my name's been dragged through the dirt because of her. And this is a very daunting thing for her to begin with. And if they haven't spoken to her directly and lied to her directly, which based on them and their style, they normally would. It's all about discrediting me so that people don't help. And, it's about programming people so that they remain permanently screwed up. So they most certainly normally would. As a point, they contacted my brother and fed him a bunch of bullshit. And, clueless jackass that he is, he also did not contact my parents. He didn't listen to the tape I sent him, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Know-It-All. And he knows it all because people who are lying heavily about me have told him to quote truth. Go figure. He's manipulated, the same as he was 20 years ago, like the idiot he is. If people want compliments, they can actually bother finding out what the truth is instead of making assumptions and, believing in lies and manipulations. That said, if they haven't approached her, they most certainly would tweak her and affect her with this technology to keep her from doing it. And as a point, I finally got an email response, finally. And she said she'd do it, just not right now. Her life's very busy, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we're talking about her doing something that takes minutes of her time, yet she can't find the time to do it. And again, was she told not to, or and tricked into not doing this? How hard is it to do the right thing? She's going to act like that she knows what's been going on here for the last 10 years because these people have told her the truth? I don't think so. So the whole point, they're doing a cover-up. So they've either spoken with her directly or they're affecting her with technology. And or it could be that she is just afraid to do it on her own. But what do I say? The odds are in these agents affecting her with technology, putting an extended feeling on her, so that just to make sure that she does not do it. That is my best guess. I've seen them misuse it on other people. I will do a separate video on witnesses and people they have affected that we know. It's undeniable. So I could be wrong here, but I most certainly am not wrong. And, it takes a few minutes of her time to straighten my parents out, yet she hasn't done it. And, look at how heavy this is and everything that's been done to me because of her screwed up bullshit. And, the fact that she hasn't done it yet. She's supposedly changed and she's about doing the right thing, yet she has not done it. And, I know that these agents have lied about me behind the scenes, or saying I'm delusional, I'm attacking their careers for no reason, blah, blah, blah. And it's all a lie and manipulation, and they are trying to prevent my parents from finding out the truth about this rape framing. And of course, what do you think? What does anybody think they would do in regards to my ex-girlfriend? They would speak with her and or affect her with technology to make sure that she does not. It's the last thing they want my parents knowing. They've gotten away with all their other lies because they've convinced my parents I am a heavy liar who has lied about rape. It's total bullshit. What does anybody think they're going to do? When it's this easy for them being caught and exposed, and if this is all it takes for getting my parents to cooperate and to speak with agencies, and they're sitting on a ton of information that will get these agents caught, what does anybody think they're going to do? So I'm going to let this get back to the tape now. Exactly what's going on. And again, I don't know what agencies of this land have been told, but this is not simply about stigmatizing me. This is about a lot more than that. They're actually selling this as real to my parents, and again, in the meantime, people here in this country have been told something very different. Certainly, people I have spoken to have been told something different than what my parents have been told. So I'm including this here, and rather than try and guess it, I will put everything here, and that way, in case agencies have been lied to the same way as my parents, they can hear this, and they can figure it out on their own. So here it is.
The night is this Jason. They kind of put down on Jason and helped me through it, and actually got me to realize what had happened in that.
And there she's talking about she had the same experience all over again with her ex-boyfriend and how he helped her through it. In regards to me and her, she was obviously told never to bring this up with me because if she had, then she would have found out the truth. In regards to many different points, I would have known what was going on. I would have known that they were calling me a rapist behind my back, and these agents back in America would have been caught. And they obviously told her to keep her mouth shut so that they could get away with labeling me a rapist. Anyhow, that's what she had just said. And here's another part. Here is another piece.
Jason really took a lot of time to make me come to grips with what happened and realize that it wasn't me or the situation that I was put into. And you got me to actually talk kind of counseling and to deal with this and, to come to grips with how I feel about it now and having to, I still have to see my stepmother and every feeling of it. And he lives with my dad until my dad died.
So that was about how he helped her and helped her to get counseling. And she said she had counseling for about 2 years. And it's because of this screwed up stuff that I was labeled a rapist. That and the fact that my ex-girlfriend let herself be manipulated. And it looks like she's probably being manipulated all over again and is actually helping these agents take part in a cover-up. And they're very close to being exposed. And of course, this stalking is being used as a cover story for doing the cover-up and for controlling people. If you don't ask questions, you don't get information, you don't find out what the truth is. It is a one-sided story and a one-way street in which these agents get to say everything they want without anybody confirming a damn thing. And that's what's going on. And this is how well agencies of this country are doing. Now back to the tape here. Last part is about her getting counseling. She had told me 2 years, and it is also about her stepbrother who used to do this to her. And again, this was used as the centerpiece for the stalking and getting people to attack me heavily. I was traumatized very, very heavily at work. It was the never-ending nightmare. A lot of this was sexual stuff, sexual traumas, and for something I had never even done. And to give you an idea, I had no idea that this was being said behind my back, and I had no idea that is why all these sexual traumas were being made by these idiots at work. I had no idea. I thought it was standard for stalking. And here's another piece as well. Based on what's going on in my life right now, this is very important. I've actually been trying to find you for years on end, going all the way back to at least 2005. Really? Yeah, totally. And this is important because later I spoke to her and we were speaking about my book. I told her the book title was Don't Tread on Me. And I'll get to this later in another video involving witnesses and what they know and what they can prove. But she said I have a flag that says Don't Tread on Me. And based on knowing these agents and the way that they give signs, they manipulate our world, the physical world, physical reality with this technology, the way the subconscious manipulates the dream state. And I said, hang on. I said, don't tell me when you got this flag. I said, let me guess. And I was able to figure it out based on knowing these agents. I named my book in around April of 2011. And I said to her, you got it in 2011? And she said, yes. And I said, wait. I said, don't tell me. And I said, you got it sometime around April. And she thought about it for a moment. She said, yeah. And how did I know that? Well, because of these agents. Last year in 2011, they were bringing up the word monster very much, and it turns out it's part of her email address. So I know that they've been spying on her with this technology. And I was able to pinpoint when she got this flag, because I realized that these agents would have me name my book and her get this flag at the same time. And that is what they did. As another point, just really quick here, I called up some different people, December 28th of 2011. First few minutes, she said, oh, well, the last time you called, which was in 2008, she said, you said you had been having a lot of dreams about me and my husband breaking up. And when you called, we were, and you were also breaking up with your girlfriend. And again, it's no coincidence. And the thing that I didn't tell her was that I knew that back in 2008 and 2011, the thing is, I knew that these dreams were being given to me by these agents, and that there was something going on with this couple, my friends, and that they were having a hard time with a relationship. And I thought there was another agent group with this technology in America working with Frida and her officers and doing this together. And I thought they were watching my parents because there were a lot of signs of techno being misused on my mom when we would speak on the phone. And I thought they had agreed to affect this couple, these friends of mine, and work in conjunction with Frida and her officers. And of course, now I know they can reach out anywhere in the world with this technology. They've proven it to me since June of 2011. And again, what does it prove? It proves that they've been spying on people and affecting people, and people that I know, and in very heavy and extreme ways. So there's two things right there. So that's what that one piece of the tape was. I want to add this note to the piece that I just played. That's the other thing I've been looking for since 2005 as I figured things out. And I wanted to get in touch with her, and they were blocking our computer, our search engine. And then later this year, they impulsed me. I felt it and gave a strong desire for me to try and find her. And they created a techno soundbite about this as well. Me speaking to my girlfriend real quick. And the point is, they quote let me find her, and I found her on a place that I always use for looking for. And lo and behold, there she was. And why? For what sales pitch and for what manipulations? And in regards to my girlfriend here in Europe, they had her say to me, "Well, now you can have closure." And I'd like to add a point. The point is, I already had closure in regards to this. I know what, obviously I was there, I know what the truth is. My bringing all this up about the rape framing and everything else has to do with how it is being misused now. It is being misused for doing a cover-up and for tricking witnesses into not cooperating, and this is why it is an issue now. And this is why I get into it. But in terms of a subject, am I being, quote, hung up on this and everything else, this has all been finished for me for a long time. These agents have simply picked a time period from years ago and are selling to agencies like I am still at this point in my life. And that doesn't begin to be true. I know what, let's get back to the tape. They told her to save us. And again, this all fits a sales pitch because I already had closure in regards to this. I mean, obviously, this doesn't count as a negative thing, and it's certainly a plus. But obviously, they're making a sales pitch with people. And my girlfriend doesn't always believe what she's being told, but she goes along with everything anyhow. She knows they're corrupt and filthy. She's been attacked like crazy by these spooks and techno, and she goes along with it. And really, she's just waiting for me to get an agency to wake up and interview us. But she is terrified. And, but the point is, they have sold to people here in this country, people that I have spoken to, they've sold them that I have been hung up about my ex-girlfriend and all of this. And all this bullshit about rape, and that I'm angry about it. And, these Frida and her officers got this idea from many years ago. This is how I used to be. This doesn't begin to be true anymore. It's not even a major point for me. The only reason why I am putting this on video has to do with the fact that agencies have been lied to, and they need to know what the truth is. And, and just to be sure, of course, I'm putting pieces of this cassette on video. That's the other end of it. If my ex-girlfriend comes across this video, here's the stuff you don't know. And again, you are being manipulated into taking part in a cover-up for corrupt and dangerous people, for killers. So if you're listening, you need to do the right thing. It's not your place to make judgments about them and about me. You ought to know me better. And, what is your thing to be doing is you need to do the right thing and to right the wrongs that you're responsible for. And again, people in this country have been told I'm all hung up and angry about this, and it doesn't begin to be true. And as a point in regards to my ex-girlfriend, if they have not contacted her, this would be one of the few times that they have not contacted somebody and lied to them and manipulated them directly. And this would be a huge surprise. And why would they do this? For tricking her. Finally, what they would do, and I say this based on knowing them, then they would finally approach her and say, look, he's off. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And in reality, what she wouldn't know is that 99% of the time, this is how they do it. They approach everybody. And, there's no being off to it. That would simply be a manipulation for tricking her. And this is how they do it. It's all about just plopping down one more lie on top of what I have to say. And they have this technology. They can see what I'm going to say, beforehand. And, how hard is this for them? It's not difficult at all. So I'm going to let this get back to the tape. I'm disgusted with my parents right now because they don't know what the truth is, and it's very easy for them to find out. I sent them a cassette. They obviously haven't listened to it, and I contacted my ex-girlfriend, and she obviously did not do the right thing. So, but you don't hear me foaming at the mouth here, and it takes agents with technology to get me upset about any of this. It's real simple, and certainly agencies of this country can tell my parents the truth, and from there they will find out everything that they don't know. And, based on that, agencies of this country will know that they should be putting these agents in jail. So it's real simple. And, again, I'm not upset about it, and I'm not angry about it. So here's a little bit more. You know what? I'm kind of nervous about speaking to you about the technology that's being used here. It's out of the twilight zone. My girlfriend knows about it. My parents know about it. Even my daughter knows about it. She's grown up with this, and it's been very unpleasant. And unfortunately, and again, as I've explained, I put that piece on there because of the situation with my daughter and quote evil ghost, and I'll be getting into more of that later. Here's another piece as well. I went to the rape cut. So I don't know if, so there she is saying that she has triggers from her past which get activated. Yeah, go figure. Thanks. And here's some more of the tape. Back to the tape here. She can hear it, but she's saying I have certain triggers that words or actions can bring me back to that moment in the past. And, she's explaining it to me, and I'm glad that she understands herself now as a point. Again, I'm not going back to wearing all of this, and these people are threatening to steal this tape, so I'm going to put a little bit more here and then be done with it once and for all. There is no way in a million years I ever would have agreed to it. I went to the rape cut. So again, I don't know how well this is going to turn out for YouTube, but again there, she's saying I know, and and then she goes on to talk about triggers and this and that's what happened, she says on the last sentence there, or the next to last sentence. So that's that. And again, I put that there for agencies, and the only way this tape is ever going to disappear from this flat is if it is stolen. I have a lot more than that on tape, of course. So that's it for that. And, simply based on that, that should be enough for agencies to figure out they've been lied to if they've been told something different. I want to get back to the timeline here. So they were traumatizing me with this and trying to stigmatize me with this, and along with being a pedophile, and that's also totally opposite of me. That's the other thing these agents do. They accuse me of things which are the opposite of me. They reverse everything in regards to lying to agencies as a point. They have repeatedly reversed things. And I end up getting the blame for their behavior, their lies, their manipulations. It is standard operating procedure for these agents. And, I got fooled from it. I began my autobiography, and in 2006, they revealed this technology to me, my girlfriend, and my parents. My daughter was still having problems with evil ghosts as a point. And what they began doing is they saw that I did not want to tell my daughter about these agents and technology, of course. Like any responsible parent, I wanted my daughter growing up in the dark. Well, what did they start doing? Within a week, this is also standard operating procedure. This is how they have let me know for years that it is them. When they get an idea from my life or somewhere else, they do it very quickly within 2 to 5 days. They usually will start doing something, and they do it very quickly to let me know where they got the idea from and to let me know that it is them. And they're rubbing in my face. They do this to rub in my face what they're doing and getting away with. They're saying, oh, look, it's us, and look at what we're doing, and look at what we're getting away with. As a point, I had a memory of my eye being burned by an ember from a firework. And my eye was fine. I had to go to the hospital, but my eye was fine. No eyesight damage, no nothing. Well, within a matter of days, they began affecting my eyesight in my right eye. And it was very obvious. So this is how they do it. And in fact, they have destroyed my eyesight permanently as a point. And, it is a long list of permanent things done to my body, which are going on all the time. And, agencies don't know about this either. They've totally destroyed my eyesight. But the point is they get ideas from my life. And they react very quickly to this just to let me know. Well, then I was thinking I'm not going to tell my daughter about this. So sure enough, what did they start doing? Ghost attacks all over it. And it was happening so much and so frequently. And my kid, of course, is being terrified. To be afraid of the dark, to be afraid to be alone, you name it. And it got down to, well, she can either grow up with reality or, grow up a basket case and scared of the dark and everything else. And I didn't have a choice in this. I figured, well, it's best she grows up being reality-based. And I was forced into telling her, and I showed her a TV remote control, and I said it's like this, except it works on people, and I said bad people have it. And I explained to her there's no ghosts, what have you. And once it reached this level, we still used the word Matsuku to describe it. And there are many, many years of me, my girlfriend, and my daughter speaking of Matsuku. And of course, agencies don't know about this. I mean, what were they expecting? Corrupt and dangerous agents, to explain it to them, to play them these techno pieces, which proves that I'm telling the truth. I mean, where are the heads of agents at agencies? And, again, I was forced into telling her, and they did this because it's the last thing I wanted to do. And again, look at the profile of the person in charge. Frida is sick and sadistic, and she targets my kid all of the time. They could care less about kids, pets, people, you name it. They care about themselves, and that is it. And, again, agencies don't know about any of this. So now what I would like to do is play a tape of my daughter having bad feelings. And her term "bad feelings" now means something else. It's to describe a different techno attack, a different techno process. They give her a feeling of deja vu, and then they make her feel sick to her stomach. And they started doing this very heavily in 2009. Um, my kid's not running around with psychic powers yet. She would run into people, and she knew what they were going to say before they would even say it, and then she'd feel sick to her stomach. And obviously, it's these agents and technology. Who the hell does everybody think it is? And look at what agencies of this land do not know about. This says very much about how sick and sadistic and corrupt and just filthy they are. They're disgusting, and it says a lot about the type of people they are. And I'm sure that the agencies don't begin to know a damn thing here. They've been lied to like crazy. So I'm going to put a tape of my daughter now, describing bad feelings. And again, this is to... Okay, what I'm going to do is, let's see, I guess I'll flip the tape here. And again, this is a tape of my daughter. And if I had been more intelligent about this, I would have started doing this years ago. I don't know what to tell you, except that I was very distracted and attacked heavily. And just to give you an idea of what it's been like being on very bad, heavy, extreme drugs all of the time, like being on LSD or something. It's hard to explain. They grab my consciousness with this technology and kind of suck me into it. It's kind of hard to explain. But it's been very heavy, and they've done a lot of different things. As a point, I should have had my book, Don't Tread on Me. Well, it should have been finished within 1 year. And they delayed it for 2 years. That said, finally in 2010, it reached a point where I had about another month and a half of work to do, and they quite literally made that take another 6 to 7 months. I, in fact, didn't get it done until, a few months into 2011. So I'm going to let this get to the tape here. This is my daughter. And as I was saying, again, she uses the same terminology to describe a different techno process, a different techno attack.
I need you to do this for me. Describe that. Do you have bad feelings? Those are your emotions you feel? But what about bad feelings? Yeah. So you get a funny feeling that you said it before, and then you start to feel bad. How long would you say this has been going on? Since you were a small kid. It's 11:03 in the morning. It is March 18th, and this has been going on a long time. That is bad feelings, and what my kid calls bad feelings.
And here's a bit more from that tape. So what you hear is my kid on tape being affected by these agents. They don't care. They're getting away with everything. And this is how it's been the entire time. And agencies don't know about this. Frida and her officers, as a point, tricked this one woman who lives in our neighborhood that I have contact with, and she thinks that I am reading into things, delusional about this. I showed her all of my journals as a point, and she said, well, it can't be all techno. And, of course, actually, very, very, very much of it is, because that is the point of me keeping my journals. But as a point, it's obvious that they will lie by saying, well, he's delusional, he's made his kids delusional, he's made his girlfriend delusional. It's all, that's all a bunch of lies and manipulations for agencies who haven't bothered contacting witnesses. I don't begin to be delusional, and when this technology is misused so heavily and extremely, it is obvious. And it is obvious for a reason. That is because they are sick and sadistic. But agencies of this country are so good, they feel no need to contact witnesses. And so they remain unclear as to what is really going on. And as I found out, what is being sold is that I am delusional, and it's a great big lie. It's been obvious to my kid when it's been misused on her. Same with my girlfriend and me. Do they do this differently with our energy print, where it's more difficult to catch? Yes, and they've done it for years on end also. Just not as much. They've usually done it without an energy print, just to let us know it is them. It's the whole goddamn point. And this year and last year, they've been doing more and more of what I call reverse scripting. It's done with an energy print, and it is reverse viewpoints and reverse feelings, emotional states pushed in and left on you. And this is what's being done to my girls very much now. And that's for creating techno tapes for tricking agencies. And, you know, it's simple, dumb stuff like this that has been tricking agencies all of the way. And why are they getting away with it? Because agencies have been tricked into looking at mobbing and stalking. And because of that, they haven't asked any questions. And wow, what a coincidence. That is exactly what the agents I am dealing with wanted, so that agencies do not find out the truth. Look at how simple it is, and this stuff is tricking agencies. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. So now back to the cassette here. The point of me keeping journals has been to monitor and to write down everything that is going on. And I'm very good at spotting this technology because I've had no choice. They tried putting me in prison, and they are very sick and sadistic. So, of course, I've been watching very carefully, and I'm very good at this. This all started off very slowly, and the more they have done, the more I have learned. And very much of this I've learned the hard way. But there's no question that I'm good at this. There is nobody at an agency as a point who is this good at recognizing this technology. Who wants to make an argument for it? I've been dealing with it for 9 years. For 3 years, I was observing and experiencing and noting ghosts and aliens. Well, actually, I was noting these agents and technology. So that's 9 years total. I know exactly what I am speaking of, and the other end of it is these people don't like being subtle. They are sick and sadistic, and they like doing all this heavy stuff to me and my family to rub in our faces what they are doing and getting away with. And again, agencies don't begin to know a damn thing about any of this. And, it's not our fault, and here I am, putting this out so they can find out. And, it's not our fault. This is what is happening to us and being done to us. And, I haven't put it into my kid's head. That's rather the point. I never wanted to bring up any of this with my daughter in the first place. So I'm finished with that for now as well. I may have to get back into it later. But again, in 2006, I was forced into telling my daughter about this technology. And actually, I would like to add a point here. I have spoken to my kid about this technology, but that's rather the point. I've been forced into it. And when they are doing very heavy and extreme things and getting away with it, I point this out to my daughter. I point it out to my girlfriend. And, when this is being done to me, they've pointed it out to me. And, we all know the smell and the flavor after many years of this. And, have I pointed this out before? Yeah, of course. Because what is being done with this technology is heavy and extreme. And this has been about minimizing the amount of heavy and extreme behavior these agents can get away with. It is about avoiding them misusing this technology heavily for traumatizing me and my family, which is what they've been doing for years on end. And there's an entire story to this. The Asian in charge, she went along with it. She had no problem with it. for a long time, and even my girlfriend was involved in helping them and doing things for them because of the stalking. And there's an entire story here that agencies don't begin to know about. There's clear history here. We all spoke out about this technology. We still do on occasion if my girls aren't being affected and they get to be normal, they do. And I most certainly still do as needed. And, there's an entire history here that agencies don't know about. Now back to the cassette. And that is what she goes through many, many times. And it is unpleasant for her. And if you're an agent of an agency, would you want this done to your own child? And you have no idea what's being done to my girlfriend. How many times my girlfriend has been put in bed because of the heavy misuses of this technology. And it started in 2010 because that was part of their cover-up. They were thinking long-term in terms of shutting my girlfriend's mouth up permanently, plus they are affecting her with technology just to make sure. And I know this for a fact because they took the technology off of her in January and February. They had it off of her in regards to keeping her mouth shut, the computer programs they're using. And she was her old self again, her normal self. Not her old self, her normal self, and it was notable. And she said, you get agencies to listen, and I will, of course, speak out. And, there you are. And as another point, they began interfering with my communications with my parents in late 2010. And they began doing very heavy and extreme things to push me into speaking out to agencies and into finishing my book. And this is when they were ready. And I noticed this. I called at all hours. I called my parents. Nobody would answer. I called at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Normally they answer at that time in the morning because it usually means something heavy has happened, of course. And no answer. And I double-checked with my parents. And, no, we didn't hear the phone ringing. No, nothing. And, again, it's not a coincidence. They've been affecting somehow the phones, I get a ringing tone, but the phone's not ringing at my parents. And again, it's not a coincidence. And, they're trying to minimize the amount of witnesses I have. And now they've got my parents all hostile at me for things which aren't even true, so that they don't even find out the truth. So that they don't listen, they don't look, they don't do a damn thing. They remain clueless. And none of my calls are getting through. And again, it's just to keep everything away from me. And back to the tape. And I noticed right away that they'd taken the computer programs off. Now, also in 2006, once they revealed this technology, they began sending me what I call texted thoughts. And they would text, these are worded thoughts shoved into your mind. And, like a pop-up on a computer for an advertisement. I used to also call them pop-ups. And, they would do this when I would kiss my daughter, and they would make nasty commentary. Just, a few words or one word. Just disgusting stuff. And they're trying to condition me and my daughter into not being close, and affectionate. Of course, I just give them a middle finger. I mean, what else am I supposed to do? But again, this says something about the people in charge. They have always been targeting my kid from year one. If you're at an agency of this land, what do you think it is? What do you think is going on here? Take a good look at the profile of the people involved. If you contact my parents and Mother Mary, you'll have enough to open up an investigation. Never mind interviewing me and my family. And, of course, what will they do? They will affect us heavily, and they will tap your own agents if you come out here. So you better have them wiretapped before you do it. And as a point, well, okay, I'm going to let this continue. It'll be the shortest investigation ever for some of the most dangerous people we've ever encountered in your careers. And currently they're tricking agencies with cheap techno special effects, techno sound bites, and simple misdirection. And also by affecting my witnesses so that they remain clueless, like my parents, and don't cooperate. Or in regards to my family, they're affecting them with techno, reverse scripting them into keeping their mouths shut. That said, if your agency comes out here and doesn't do stalking, like a bunch of like a bunch of, dingbat teenagers, but, you actually come out here to do an investigation. She will sing like a bird, and she knows more than anybody, and on many a point, in regards to what they've been doing and getting away with, because she has been working with them, taking part in a lot of things, because she is in the stalking. She is somebody close to me, and I am in the stalk. And so they've used her for doing very much that they have no business doing, and you name it. And this is what agencies don't know about. As a point, our neighbor thinks I am delusional, and she will no doubt think I brainwashed my daughter into thinking this, like I am some idiot child who has no sense of responsibility for raising his daughter, and would put this into her head. And when that doesn't begin to be the case. I was forced into doing it, and we've spoken out about this technology many times to avoid being traumatized. This is why my daughter, my girlfriend, and me say to each other, "You've got the monster," or "Hey, they're doing it to me. I've got the monster." And this is why we've done it. Why? To avoid heavy traumas. We've had no goddamn choice. Does anybody at agencies know this? Not at all. And my neighbor works for a agency of this land, and here you are. Here's a soundbite of my daughter and being affected, and it's quite clear to her, and it always has been. And you didn't know about this, so now what do you think? And you don't know about this whole secret life we have. Like your being our neighbor somehow renders you special powers of knowing. In the meantime, my parents are 9-year witnesses. Mother Mira is a 10-year witness to all sorts of things you don't know. This is one piece of many. And you're just following along the orders of your agency, and they didn't perform an investigation. So now here's a soundbite of my girlfriend. And this is in regards to me having shared death threats being made against me and my family. And why? Because I had to take these seriously. The tape of Monica on tape before they went out to Mother Mira's. Okay, here's another piece. Here's me talking to my girlfriend about death threats and them making a car accident if we went out to Mother Mira's. What you don't understand is that many times threats that are very heavy, and then it happens. And I told my girlfriend about this and told her to drive safe and everything, and they were about to go out the door to Mother Mira's. I think this was May 5th, and I have her on tape. She didn't know that I was... Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end now. I have a very long video here. It is, an hour and 15 minutes, so I will end it here and pick up with the next video and start off with that. Again, my purpose here is to get all the basic history here on video, and then what I will be doing is doing a week-by-week account, kind of like journal entries on YouTube, and people can look and learn and see what it is that I am noting and observing, and techno tricks and tactics. And I imagine this will be educational for many people. So I'm going to end it here. And I've got, 3:30 in the afternoon now. And that's it for today. I will start something separate, a separate project. I'm going to call it Chewing the Fat with Dante Kalidas. And I will do small segments on particular subjects and topics which I know about, or which I feel I have something to contribute to. And again, this will be a separate project, and I may, within that, cover a few points about stalking and this technology, but for the most part, it will be other subjects. I do have, again, a new book out. I know I sound cheap doing it this way. I realize my setup here does not look nice and professional. That's because, what do I say? I've got no money for doing it any other way, and, it's the story of my life. But I do have a new book out. This can be ordered at Amazon, and it does cover the bigger picture in regards to stalking and other subjects, and I tie it all together, and what do I say? It's obvious, and I feel that I do a well enough job with this book that you can see how the pieces all fit together, and you can see what this bigger puzzle is that stalking is a part of. It's all about Obama's quote citizen police force, and it's about indoctrinating a large portion of the population all across the world that is subservient to government and willing to do anything blindly for government. And this is all in preparation for a large world event that will be happening in the near future. This large world event, and there will probably be more than one. There's a reason for that also. Um, but this will be MK Ultra on a world scale. And this gang stalking is about laying down the groundwork and everybody setting up their connections and everything ahead of time, making sure it all runs smoothly before this event happens. And this event is scheduled to happen, it's my belief, later this year. It could be any month now. Or early 2013. And this actually has to do with a cosmic cycle. The night and day of Brahma, as the Hindus call it. We're getting near a space cloud, galactic fluff, and a light ribbon. And this is all tied in together. Mayan prophecies, quote, the end of time, you name it. This is all tied in together. There's a real energy process that is going to occur that, these elite know about. They're very esoteric. They keep all the real knowledge to themselves while selling us a whole bunch of junk on TV and radio. But they know about this. And there is a real cosmic and divine process that is about to occur. And what they want to do is hijack this. This is how megalomaniacal they are. They want to hijack this God process, this universal process that happens, once every, thousands and thousands of years. And what they want to do is they want to hijack this energy process. And they want to insert their own plans and ideas, none of it which is good. And that's what this is all about. And, stalking is about preparing for world events that are going to be coming up in which they want to declare martial law and take all the power and control to themselves. And then, of course, once that happens, they will never return and, the power and control. They have no intentions of doing it. Thank you. My name is Dante Kalidas. I will try to make my videos shorter here. And I will try, the reason why I have not been posting videos lately is that I was, quote, trying to pass the stalking, and I was uncertain. So I took a long break here and waited to make sure that I had been held in, which I was. And, the reason why I do this is because I don't give up. They're going to hold me in regardless, but, if by some freak chance I pass, they got to let me go. And provided that they've spoken to people like my parents, my girlfriend, what have you, and they've explained the test beforehand. And, if he passes, then, he goes free, and this is the test. This is how it used to be. I have no contact with my parents now, but I try and pass regardless, and of course I get held in, so that's why there's been an absence from making videos, and my intention is to put out, 1 or 2 videos a week minimum, and, to keep putting out information. I'm in a hurry to finish my history with these agents and technology and, stalking, so that I can get all caught up and start doing it, day by day or week by week. And that's the other end of it. Once I finish doing my history here, what I'm going to start doing is start speaking about specific tactics, and my videos will be shorter and more specific and to the point, and will be much more helpful. Thank you for listening. My name is Dante Kalidas, and I will be making more videos, and thank you for your support.